Did you know that one of the most infamous walls in the world, stretching over 140 kilometers, separating millions of lives and bringing the planet to the brink of destruction, was actually born from a sleepless night? No, seriously. On a summer night in 1961, East German leaders, gripped by anxiety over citizens fleeing to the west, made a panicked decision. Build a wall. It started with political paranoia, a few late-night phone calls, and one reckless choice that led to 28 years of division. Part 1. Setting the stage. After World War II, Germany was carved up into 4 occupation zones, controlled by the US, the UK, France, and the Soviet Union. Even Berlin, the capital, was divided the same way, despite being deep inside the Soviet zone. Confusing? Yeah, that's because it was, thanks to post-war politicians who thought dividing things up would make them easier to manage, but ended up creating decades of chaos instead. While West Germany flourished with American support, hello Marshall Plan, East Germany, under Soviet control, quickly became a place people were desperate to escape. In just a few years, over 2.5 million East Germans fled to the West through Berlin, many of them doctors, engineers, and teachers. Exactly the kind of people the East German government could least afford to lose. Part 2. How a Stupid Decision Unfolded. On August 12, 1961, East German leader Walter Ulbricht met with his Soviet allies in a tense, late-night meeting. "We need to stop people from fleeing, and we need to do it now," he insisted. And just like that, in the middle of the night between August 12th and 13th, trucks rolled out, soldiers were mobilized, and workers were rushed into position. Not for rescue, but to build a wall. They started by digging trenches and stringing up barbed wire fences, dividing East and West Berlin with no warning, no international announcement, and no clear explanation. When Berliners woke up the next morning, they found their families, lovers, and friends suddenly stranded on the other side of the fence. Within just a few weeks, the flimsy barbed wire had turned into a 12-foot-high concrete wall, guarded by armed soldiers, attack dogs, and more than 300 watchtowers. Part 3. How long did the consequences last? 28 years, from 1961 to 1989. 28 years during which nearly 200 people were shot and killed trying to cross the wall. 28 years during which more than 5,000 people attempted to escape, some in daring, almost unbelievable ways, such as digging deep tunnels underground, flying over in homemade hot air balloons, crashing vehicles through the barriers, even undergoing plastic surgery to change their appearance. And for 28 years, millions lived in separation, suspicion, surveillance, and loneliness. Hugs cut short by barbed wire. Part 4. Unintentionally hilarious moments. East Germany once declared, "The wall isn't to stop people from fleeing, it's to keep Western spies out." Sure, all 2.5 million people who fled before the wall went up must have been undercover agents, right? On the very first day the wall went up, an East German soldier on guard duty jumped over the barbed wire into the West. A photo capturing his leap became an iconic symbol of defiance. One daring family made it across the border using a homemade zip line from a high-rise apartment in East Berlin to the west. The world held its breath. East German officials, meanwhile, nearly lost their minds. And of course, after 1989, there were always a few entrepreneurs selling chunks of the Berlin Wall as souvenirs. Were they real? Maybe. Or maybe you just bought a piece of someone's old bathroom tile. Part 5. A modern-day reflection. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989, but the mindset of division, control, and fear never truly disappeared. Even today, we still see invisible walls, between the rich and the poor, between one nation and another, between social classes, races, and belief systems. And sometimes, the most dangerous walls are the ones we build inside our own minds. We continue to build them with prejudice, with hatred, and, perhaps most tragically, with short-sighted decisions that we end up paying for across generations. In summary, history isn't a string of wise decisions. It's more like a tragic novel, written in ink of foolishness and blood. And the Berlin Wall? It was just the opening chapter in a long series of moments where humanity chose to react like frightened children instead of thoughtful adults. Want to see more? Episode 2 is coming up. The War Over a Wooden Bucket, when Italy and Switzerland nearly fought over a public bathroom. Hit like, subscribe, and comment. Keep it coming if you want more bizarre and heartbreaking tales from human history.